Okay, so I wanted to help you get this problem number 37 set up, and then I hope after you see how the inequalities work, you can do the graph yourself. So hopefully you've already read through the problem and you understand what is being talked about here. There are really two different things discussed in this problem that Steve wants to put on his smartphone, and it all boils down to audiobooks and songs. Okay, and we're getting some information. Some of this information really isn't needed, but some of it is very important in helping us set up a total of 3 inequalities. Okay, so first of all, let's just identify variables. I'm just going to, since it says let's show the possible combinations of songs and books that Steve can have, I'm just going to let X stand for audiobooks, number of audiobooks. And Y will stand for songs. Okay, this first piece of information, it's actually in the second sentence, really isn't needed, and I'm going to try to help you understand why. They tell us that audiobooks are about 3 hours long and songs are about 3.5 minutes long, but then they don't tell us how much time we have altogether. So really, there's no way to make an inequality with this information unless they tell us our time limitation, how much time is available to store this information. If we don't know that, then it's not going to be possible to write an inequality with these two pieces of information. So reading on, we're told that Steve wants no more than 4 audiobooks, and the way it's worded a little bit weird on his smartphone, but at least he wants 10 songs and 1 audiobook. Okay, so since I've let X represent the number of audiobooks, I'm going to take this information. He wants at least 1 audiobook, but not more than 4. And so the way I represent that using an inequality is 1 and 4, and basically this says that the number of audiobooks will be between 1 and 4. And we say that that's inclusive. So I say or equal to, because it could be 1, but it's not going to be more than 4. Okay, so there's one inequality. And if you're wondering later on, well, how is this graphed? I'll just go ahead and give you a little preview, and you can do it on the graph paper. But if you graph the boundary lines x equals 1, let's just say that there's 1. So here is x equals 1, and here is x equals 4, and then you would just shade in between. Okay, so looking ahead at when you do graph this inequality. All right, so we got one inequality down. Let's see if we can find another one. Steve wants no more than 4 on his smartphone, but at least 10 songs. At least 10 songs. So we need an inequality to represent at least 10, and Y represents the number of songs. So this would be at least 10. Y is greater than or equal to 10. Okay, and really there's only one inequality left, and that involves the cost of each item. Each audiobook is $15 and each song is 95 cents. But unlike this information where we're told how long each song is, or how long the songs are and the audiobooks are, but we weren't told how much time we have altogether as a limitation. But that's not true here. We're told how much each book costs, we're told how much each song costs, and we're told how much he has to spend altogether. So we can write an inequality to represent a limitation basically on how much money he has to spend. So we're going to say each book costs $15, so that's 15x. Each song costs 95 cents, that's 0.95y. And he cannot go over 63. 63 is the maximum amount he has. So we're going to say the inequality will be less than or equal to 63. Okay, so this represents the system. You're going to graph those three inequalities and do the proper shading. And then what we'll be able to determine after you do the shading is we'll be able to see, you don't have to list them out, the shading will tell us, but we should be able to visually see all the possible combinations of books and songs that he can have. One thing I do want to remind you of when you do these word problems that involve graphing of two different quantities, make sure that you label the x and y axes appropriately. So whatever, and you didn't have to call audiobooks x. You could have switched these and that would have been okay. But whatever you decide to be x, make sure you label the x-axis accordingly, and also for y. Make sure you label the axes. Otherwise, just looking at the graph, it doesn't make any sense when we come up with those ordered pairs. All right, so I hope that helps you take number 37 from here and sketch the graph. And if you have any questions, let me know.